Corey, it's time for That's Debatable.
That's debatable.
How does this work? This works by us picking a rather controversial debate topic.
And then we flip a coin and decide who gets to defend and who gets to attack that point. And then...
you guys get to decide who won.
Or lost, or neither. Whatever your guys' opinion on these, tell us in the comments below.
Welcome back to the show. My name's Nick.
And I'm Corey, and we don't know your names, but you probably are awesome and don't smell. Anyways, if you guys want to watch this full uncut and uncensored version of this podcast, early access, you can go watch it on our Patreon, link down below.
Yeah, check it out there. Please make sure to like and subscribe, Areno. We really appreciate it.
And if you want to watch this podcast as a audio version, we have it on Apple Music, Spotify, and Amazon, whatever they're called. Apple, Spotify, and Amazon. They come out a week later after we post them on our early access Patreon.
And so you know if you want to watch it early, Patreon's where to be.
Yes, and if you guys like our commentary, you're going to love our movie and show reactions, which we do on our other YouTube channel, Nick and Corey. Anyways, let's get on to the first one. What is the first debate?
Is it okay to date a friend's sibling?
Is it okay to date a friend's sibling?
Yeah.
We'll find
Is
out.
it? I don't know.
We'll find out once I get my phone out of my pocket and flip a coin because I don't own coins anymore.
All right. You call it. Call who's who and what's what.
All right, so it is heads. It's okay to date a friend's sibling.
Sure.
Is that what it's friend's sibling?
Yeah, is it okay to date a friend's sibling?
Okay, heads, it's okay to date a friend's sibling. Tails, it's not okay to date a friend's sibling. This is for you.
Okay.
You are saying it is not okay to date a friend's sibling. I have to say that it's okay.
Am I starting?
You can start.
Okay.
Tell me why it's not okay.
Shouldn't do it.
Why?
Okay, here's the reason you shouldn't do it. You could potentially meddle your friendship with a person by nutting in your friend's sister and realizing that it doesn't work out, but you've impregnated her. So now your friend is your brother-in-law. If we're talking,
you're making this sound like a positive thing.
Is your brother-in-law, but you don't want to stay together. So now you've created a bastard, which could be okay too.
I think that it's okay to date a friend's sibling. It's murky territory. It's high risk, high reward. Because if you're in like middle school or high school, for some reason, people are super territorial. They're like, don't talk to my sister. The thing is, once you get to like real life, like you're an adult with actual brain and emotions, why wouldn't you want your sibling, someone you love and cherish, to date someone who you know is a great person,
okay, so
your close friend?
How close of a friend are we talking?
I mean, we're saying, is it okay to date your friend's sister? I would say it's to the point where you're like, you are a good friend of mine. You are like a friend, not like a random acquaintance. Because if it's a random acquaintance, why the do you even consider it?
So here's the tricky thing about this. I think I do think there's conditions in which dating your friend's sibling is okay, but I think that should only be treated as like a serious relationship.
Oh, well, it's dating. I think is it okay to just have sex, a one-night stand with your friend's sister? That's probably crossing a line. I mean, even then, if they're consenting adults, I think it's fine.
Although I know people that have done that.
Here's my take on it. I think it's okay in every situation, so long as both the people that are in that relationship, dating, one-night stand, whatever it is, are agreeing that this is what it is, and it's okay.
That's true. And respectful.
The thing that makes it high risk is if your friendship rides on your ability to maintain cordial relationship with that sister or brother or whatever.
Things get in relationships much more so than friendships, because when love is involved and emotions teeter and totter and go all around, you could get into a state where you're no longer liking each other that much.
For sure.
And say you guys break up for some reason, potentially it might friendship.
I don't know what the number is. It's got to be over 50%. Probably something like 75%.
Okay.
Of relationships overall do not last.
Yeah, I would guess most don't.
I think the number is like 50% of marriages end in divorce. So relationships
must
need
be
to
much more.
Much higher.
Yeah.
You got to be like 75 or higher.
Yeah.
So the odds are, if you're in a relationship with someone, it's not going to work out. You need to ask yourself.
You heard that? You heard that here, guys. Relationship, it's not going to work.
Well, I mean, ask yourself, how many relationships have you ever been in? If the answer is more than 1 or 0, then that's true. It has not worked out for you more than once.
Yeah.
So if that is the case, you need to ask yourself, if that relationship with that friend's sibling doesn't work out, likely it doesn't.
Happen?
Yeah, what happens
What's
to your
the nuclear
friendship?
fallout? Is your friend going to kill you in your sleep with a chainsaw?
If you are the kind of person and they're the kind of person that are comfortable being friends with their ex or just like cordial and moving on and like being kind of around each other, then it's not that bad. But if you are the kind of person who goes nuclear, must block everywhere, like is a serial cheater, then don't. Don't do that.
Well, in that case, you should judge yourself on who you're friends with to begin with.
True.
So like if you consider yourself a good person, not everyone does, and you are friends with someone who you consider as a good person is not toxic, then ideally you would want your sibling to be dating somebody.
Yeah.
Because you essentially have already done the background check.
Exactly.
And then this could potentially bring you guys even closer.
I'm on the level that if you were actually friends, not like your Facebook friends and like your to each other, but like actually friends, someone that if they asked, hey, is this person your friend, you would be like proud to say, yeah, they're my friend.
Yeah.
Ride or die.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I think it's fine
Yeah,
to
I
date
agree.
your friend's sibling, because why would you not want your friend, your sibling's partner to be someone you like?
Yeah.
Assuming they get married, like you want them to be your
It's a
brother,
win-win.
your sister, whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Now that you basically have two siblings.
Exactly. So it's like you want them to be someone close in your life and someone you trust and treats your sibling well. If your friend wouldn't do that, why the are you friends in the first place?
It could be, so this could be the thing we were talking about at a previous bit where what's this friend's orbital level? Are they a Pluto friend? A Pluto friend is not someone who I'd necessarily want to date my sibling.
No, because like, okay, so here's the thing with that, the orbits that I was talking about before. If you are in the inner circle, you're close friends. Like you are bestest friends. They are people that you share everything with, like you are in the text group chat level. When you are outside of that, you're not enemies. You don't dislike them. You're just not close friends. There are plenty of people that like I love talking to, but they're not my orbital.
Yeah, that's fine.
And like if I had a sibling that they would date or vice versa, it like wouldn't even cross my mind, because it's not like an overprotective thing of like, hey, this is gonna create conflict. It's more like, all right, sure, whatever.
It's just iffy territory.
It's not even. I think that if you are like,
You need to be more considerate.
I think if you're secondary friends, not best friends, but like that friend level where you're cordial, maybe you speak to each other once, twice, 3 times a year at like whatever events, or like you only show up at group events that are like mutual friends, but like never really together.
Yeah.
I don't think that's like a consideration of should they date your sibling or not.
But
I think
don't
that's
just-
just like they might as well be an acquaintance.
Don't nut and go on your friend's sibling.
If they are someone you consider a friend, treat their sibling as a potential relationship that will go to the end. If you don't, then you're gonna have some splaining to do.
Yeah. You might for a relationship and a friendship if that's
for
the
sure.
case. So yeah, just tread carefully there. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's okay to date your friend's
I really
sibling?
feel like it depends on the person, like the person you are. If you are the kind of person who is genuine, looking for a good relationship, I mean, depends on how you like define what a relationship is, like monogamous, polyamorous, whatever the. As long as you are a genuine person and you're looking for a deep connection, not like a one night stand, and like a slam piece. If you are that kind of person who looks for something genuine, and it's a good friend of yours, I don't think there's a problem with it.
Is it wrong to be friends with benefits with your friend's sibling?
I don't necessarily think so.
I think that has to just be a very
I
specific
think it's
circumstance.
if you're adults and they're both consenting and agree what it is, I think it's probably fine.
Yeah.
I think the one night stand thing crosses into weird territory because like no one really agrees to be one night stands with
I could
someone
see
that they
that
know.
happening at like a wedding or some type of like group getaway that you go on a vacation with a bunch of friends.
I don't think you can really be a positive like one night stand with someone that you know. Like I think one night stands that are like a good thing that people look for are with people they don't know on purpose.
You don't think a one night stand could be? I could see it being with someone you know. Like
No,
say
I think if you know them, it's going to
Know
turn
them
to
well?
more. If you know them at all, I think it's going to turn to something more. Like you can't. I don't think you can have a one night stand that's like a good thing with someone you know. It's going to turn into a friends with benefits. Because if it's a one night stand and it's not, if it is a one thing, like a one event, it probably means it was bad. Usually it's the one night stand that like you're like, oh my god, that guy was so hot, like it was just great, and I'm glad we had fun and it's over. That's usually a guy you met at the bar and you don't plan on ever seeing them again. You have nothing in common. But if it's someone you know that's like kind of in your orbital of like your close friend's sibling or something like that, you're gonna run into each other again. If those feelings are positive, it's gonna happen again.
Have you been on a date where you could tell you're not compatible with this person, but you still wanted to bang them?
I had a period in my life where like all I cared about was just like sex
Yeah.
and not relationships, because like I didn't feel like I had time.
But did you go on dates with people, or was it straight just a hook up?
It was pretty much like dating apps. So like they would like talk to me in DMs and stuff. But no, like I don't think there's a problem with it. I think it's when you cross that line into the person expected more and you didn't deliver.
Yeah. Essentially, just go into things with someone where you have the same perspective. Don't manipulate somebody else. You can probably find someone that wants what you want.
If you don't know them at all, you met them at a bar, or it was a one night thing from a dating app, it's easier to just hit it and go, and you both got what you want.
Hit it and go.
And you both got what you wanted, and it was fun, and that's it. because you never ever will run into each other again and have those weird mixed feelings. If it's someone in your circle, not bestest friends, but someone that you will see again, it makes things more confusing. You probably should have planned to make it a longer commitment than one time.
So go into dating your friends' siblings as ideally someone you seek out to have a long-term relationship
If it's
with.
your friend sibling, it should be serious. At least a ongoing thing that you both agree on. If it's a one-time thing, chances are it means it's bad and your friendship is probably going to have a little bit of hiccup.
It could just be a hiccup.
It could be a hiccup. And if you're a person, this doesn't apply to you. Just don't do it in the first place.
Just don't be a
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Curious. Next question.
This is for me.
Yeah. This is a really good question. I like this one a lot.
Oh, no.
Is it worse to be self-loathing, as in hating yourself, or self-obsessed, as in loving yourself a little too much?
Okay, is it worse to be self-loathing or self-obsessed?
Basically, either you hate yourself or you're a narcissist.
Okay, self-loathing will be heads, self-obsessed will be tails.
Okay.
So I have to defend that it's worse to be self-obsessed.
And I will do that it's
Self-loathing.
worse to be self-loathing.
This is not my official opinion, so I have to
What's your
defend this.
official opinion?
I think it's worse to be self-loathing, but I have to say it's worse to be self-obsessed. If you're self-obsessed, people will not like being around you. They won't like being around you if you're self-loathing either. If you're self-obsessed, people think you're cocky and like you're arrogant and think you're better than them, and it'll make them feel weird being around you. Like you're that kind of person who just on everyone or one-ups them. It's a bad look.
Yeah, I think typically a self-obsessed person would be condescending to others.
And not even like condescending, just unintentionally at best, stepping over other people. Like not
You
condescending.
probably use other people.
It's less like, oh my God, you're an engineer? Wow. That's like, it would be cool if it wasn't the fact that I'm a f***ing actor. It's so much cooler. Like, it's not like that. Like, I feel like that's condescending. I feel like it's more of like oh, you're an engineer? That's awesome. By the way, did I tell you about this thing that I just did the other week where I got flown out to this awesome thing? Oh, it was so cool. It's more like this
like disregarding other people?
Just like ignoring your points.
No, I think self-obsessed people might be bad in multiple ways. Like you could also just try to one-up everything somebody says.
That's what I'm thinking. I think it's a one-up thing. I don't think it's necessarily it has to be condescending. It probably will be, but I don't think you have to be negative directly to that person. I think it's more of indirectly negative, where like you're building yourself up so much that it feels like you ignore their feelings.
Yeah, so the way I see it is a self-obsessed person will put their needs before others.
But it doesn't necessarily mean you on them. It just means you build yourself up and ignore building them up.
You might potentially unintentionally these people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's unintentional. I don't think you have to be like us, the kind of person that would on someone.
I think it's worse to be self-loathing. I think in both cases, honestly, like both, like I have to defend this, but also I agree with this.
Okay.
I think hating yourself really makes you just super unconfident and doubt your abilities, and it's going to overall decrease your quality of life, and it's going to make you go through life as like a flump.
Well, let me give you this. Some of the most successful comedians are self-loathing. They have a career because of it.
I hate myself plenty of the time, and I think I've been working on to get rid of that.
But there's a career in self-loathing. There's also, I guess,
there's a lot of careers in self-obsession.
Maybe.
Narcissism can generate a lot of careers.
I don't know about that. Potentially, but I think that obsession is more of a career if other people are obsessed with you. Self-obsession doesn't really work that well, but self-loathing, you can have a career as a comedian.
If you're an effective self-obsessed person, you can probably amass a ridiculous amount of skills and talents and become just because
Would you?
I'm just thinking, if you are not concerned with other people's needs, then you could put a ton of focus in yourself. You probably won't have as much help, but you would also probably manipulate and use people.
Well, think about it like this. If you're self-obsessed, why would you even put effort into building yourself up? You already think you're great as you are.
Possible, yeah.
You wouldn't learn any new skills. Why would you have to? Why would you try to improve perfect? See, I can get in the mind of someone who's self-obsessed.
Why is that, Corey? I think self-loathing is just, you're going to end up being around everyone who misery loves company, and you're going to be
so you're
around...
gonna have friends.
Yeah, energy vampires, but you're also an energy vampire.
See, that's
you just
the thing.
Suck the fun out of things.
If you're self-loathing, you have a career, you have friends, because misery love company. Self-obsessed people are alone. They have no one that cares about them.
Self-obsessed people are typically narcissistic manipulators that will get friends but can't keep them.
Yeah, they got no one on their side. It's hard to be self-obsessed. It's a hard life up here.
But okay, imagine a truly self-loathing person that constantly complains about their life. They hate their job. They hate their day-to-day life. They have no goals, no aspirations. They're just upset
It's
and
relatable.
just poop.
A lot of people hate their
Honestly, both are relatable to many people because people go in and out of phases of both.
I don't think being self-obsessed is as relatable. I think it's annoying and it happens a lot, but I don't
probably
think it's
more common to
I think it's
hate
way
yourself.
more common to be self-loathing.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Just because you hate yourself might not mean you prioritize others over you. But I'm trying to defend the fact that self-loathing is worse.
My idea of self-loathing, like my pinnacle, and this is probably mean, but like the archetype, not like the actual person, the character of Paris Hilton is my archetype of self-obsessed. Someone who's like, all me, I'm so hot. Not saying she's like that, but she's played a character at times.
Yeah, the role
and
she
like,
plays, yeah.
I don't think like her character is necessarily directly mean to others. It's just disregarding.
Yeah.
And so
which can be
it is, but it's less than someone who's like, you are scum beneath me.
Well, usually self-obsessed people are condescending because they see their life
hand
as
in
more
hand.
valuable than others.
They go hand in hand.
And if you see your life as less valuable than others, you're going to be a doormat. You're going to live a pretty unsatisfying life. You're not going to see the purpose in your decisions as much. You kind of see yourself as the NPC in your own life, which is really bad.
Well, if you're self-loathing, wouldn't that mean that you have less aspirations because you don't believe that you'll live up to them? Therefore, your satisfaction levels of like achieving something is way easier to achieve versus
No,
someone
but
who's
you don't feel like you're
self-obsessed.
achieving anything.
Someone who's self-obsessed might not achieve the things they believe they're desired to be.
Well, this is getting very confusing, but I think if you're self-loathing and you're technically lowering your bar, it doesn't mean you're going to meet that lower bar. It means you might your bar might be lower for the success that you might think you want to attain, but you're probably still not going to reach that bar.
I try to think of self-obsessed sometimes as like the kids who were told they're gifted and talented in school.
And they just ran with it.
And they grow up being failures because they never live up to that those
This
beliefs.
is self-obsession or self-loathing?
Self-obsession. They become self-loathing eventually, but like it's self-obsession because they're told as kids, "Wow, you're so gifted, you're so talented."
That you don't need to do anything.
Instead of being
essentially.
told like you're hardworking or anything,
Yeah.
you're just told that you're naturally great. So they don't do anything because they're perfect as is, and then life slaps them in the face.
Yeah.
And they genuinely were above average people in whatever like field
They
they,
just
were
didn't
doing.
put that for them.
Yeah, they didn't just do anything to put that to use.
Yeah.
And now their life is like horrible. They have a like minimum wage or below job. They live with their parents still at like 40 because they just never did anything to use their talents.
Who would you rather be around, a self-loathing person or a self-obsessed person? So like I'll paint a picture of like a rough caricature of
This
what they could be.
this doesn't help my argument, but I would rather be around a self-obsessed person.
You'd rather be around a narcissist versus someone who constantly complains about everything in their life being bad?
Yes, I think both are bad. There's no like positives to this, but I would rather be around someone who's self-obsessed because if you're self-obsessed, there's a chance that you spend your money on things that are more lavish. So at least like it looks fun to be friends with you. You talk yourself up, which like is annoying, but at least like the mood is overall like up.
Yeah.
Versus someone who's self-loathing, they probably don't have any money or anything that like they do that's worthwhile. You ask them what are their hobbies and they say sleeping.
No, you could be a wealthy person who hates themselves.
You ask them how they're doing today and they're like, I'm sad again. I stubbed my toe this morning, usual. Like they they bring the mood down a lot.
Yeah, being around I typically try not, and I'm not saying like, okay, if a friend I'm having through is going through some hard times and they're down, I'm abandoning them. That's not the case. I just typically like being around people who are optimistic and have goals in life because it's much more fun to be associated with people that want to do things and have aspirations than it is around people who will continue living this perpetual loop of complaining and making the same mistakes over and over and just living their life as if they're just in this permanent rut that they can't do anything about. Like, you have freedom to make decisions and evolve your life and improve your day-to-day quality of life if you actually act on it. And if you just hate yourself and you have no goals beyond that, then you're going to continue being a piece of and that madness will perpetuate.
I think this kind of flipped on me because I definitely think that it's worse to be self-loathing, but it's hard to argue that it's better to be it's worse to be obsessed.
Yeah.
I think that life is just easier for people that are self-obsessed than self-loathing. Like, you just don't do anything for yourself. Like, you'll never like, no one cares about you more than you. And if you don't care about you, then like you're stuck. Nothing's going to work.
Yeah. That's a really valid point, actually.
Like, people can think you're annoying and like not really where you believe you are, but you probably can convince a few people.
Fake it till you make it, baby.
And you probably will have way more fun hyping yourself up than just being like, my life sucks. I hate everything. God, I'm just going to sleep all day because I don't want to be awake.
Yeah. In either of these extremes, you're probably going to end up being pretty sad and lonely because ultimately, I don't think if you're
Like that, you could be delusional, but like at least you're fun in your delusion if you're self-obsessed. Like you think those people that are self-obsessed, like actually self-obsessed, they're probably having a great time.
Narcissists, yeah.
They're probably having a great time with life. No matter how delusional they are,
Well,
they
the dark
think they're on
triads.
top.
Yeah.
You're not having a good time if you're self-loathing.
Yeah.
It's in the name.
Yeah. I agree. That's my point. That's what I'm arguing for.
I know. I can't
What do
argue
you
it.
guys think? Would you rather deal with a narcissist? Would you rather be a narcissist?
Well, it's not what you rather deal with.
No. But either, actually. I understand, like, the question is asking, is it worse to be self-loathing or self-obsessed?
I feel like this might change if it's which is worse in general versus which is worse to be around.
I'm actually curious what people think of both of those sides. Is it worse to be self-obsessed or self-loathing? And is it worse to be around a self-obsessed or self-loathing person?
It might be the same answer, but it could be different. I think just in general, it probably is worse overall to be self-loathing.
Yeah, I think hating yourself is probably a pretty bad way to live life that will lead.
There's just no positives.
It'll just lead to a lot of unsatisfaction because even if you do achieve anything, you're going to be looking for negatives and you're going to find them.
Yeah, the only positive with self-loathing is that someone like might pity help you out, but they're pity helping you because they want to be a force of change. And if you maintain self-loathing, they're just going to be like, all right, I'm leaving.
Yeah. In general, life advice around this, I would say treat yourself with some respect and have high expectations and standards of yourself, but do not let that get to your head where you look down on others.
I do this a lot. I like living my life this way. I think it's good to have a cockiness switch. Turn it on and know how to turn it off. It's good to hype yourself up because it's just fun. And if you have friends you can shit talk with, turning it on for that moment is also fun. But don't let it get to your head. Don't actually believe the shit, but like say it like a mantra. Like if you need to tell yourself, I'm the best person in this room. No one's better than me. Like say it to yourself.
Yeah, honestly, have your inner voice be narcissistic because it's much better than having your inner voice being an evil piece of talks down to you.
Yeah.
As someone who has an evil inner voice that they've been working on.
Mine's the opposite. I like love.
You have a cocky inner voice?
I love being cocky. And I don't believe it, but like it helps. It helps
you
in
used
life.
to be such a humble bragger. You've gotten better at it, but you were such a humble bragger
Really?
before. Oh yeah.
Like what?
I don't even want to get into it, but
Like
you were definitely a humble bragger.
I don't think I owned anything to be humble brag about.
It was like humble brag about like I don't want to get into it.
Okay.
I think it's
I don't think I had any possessions or anything that was worth bragging about. Maybe that's the humble part.
Okay, the last question, the clickbait. Is cheating forgivable in a relationship?
Is cheating forgivable? Heads is it is, tails it isn't.
Is this for me?
Yes. Tails is it isn't. That's hard to say.
Tails is it isn't.
All right, what is it? For Nick, it is tails.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Corey. Smash your head into the wall.
I'm brain blasting in the wrong direction. You got tails.
It's not forgivable?
It isn't forgivable in a relationship.
Okay. Cheating is not forgivable in a relationship, which is honestly what I believe. But
I have to argue that cheating is forgivable? My
I
God.
haven't been in a circumstance where cheating has happened in a relationship I've been in. So I don't know. But, and I do think there's
levels.
There's trace instances. Very unlikely, but I think it could be potentially
forgivable. Start with your point.
Anyways, I think it's unforgivable because whatever let's say we're in a standard relationship, monogamous, where you've committed yourself to another person and you essentially have a verbal contract of that you are each other's people and you are not going to
There's an understanding. There's an understanding, and you've broken that understanding.
Yeah, you've broken the trust, so you've undermined the trust, and trust is foundational to a relationship. So once that foundation has been broken, everything will come crumbling down. Because if you can't trust someone in the most basic way of the contract, then how the are you going to build anything else off of that?
I see what you're saying. See what you're putting down.
Pretty simple.
All right, I got nothing.
You got nothing. You don't think it's forgivable?
Okay, so
think about a circumstance where you think it.
The only thing I can think of right now, and I'm gonna try to my way through this. All right, improv time. There are different definitions of cheating.
Okay.
There's physical cheating, there's emotional cheating, and then there's various things that are gray area. Some people's version of cheating is so aggressive that it might not match up with what
like
you're
flirting.
Yeah. Like if you are a guy and you're dating a girl and your girl says you are not allowed to have girlfriends.
Yeah, that's
technically if you agree to this relationship to continue, and that's a boundary for them, it is cheating for you to have girlfriends. Not that I would agree that that is something you should do, but if you continue that relationship and that's their boundary, no matter how it is, that's cheating.
Get me out. Get me out.
And if you do happen to have a girlfriend that you talk to,
a friend girl?
Yeah.
You mean like a...
Yeah, a girl space friend that you talk to, and they call you out as cheating. Maybe if you like them, that your partner, your girlfriend, your girl not space friend, for
Just
every
call
other
them friend
reason.
girl.
No, your girlfriend.
Okay.
If you like them for every other aspect besides this one boundary, maybe you do it anyways. You cheat. You cheat and be like, it's really not a big deal to have girl space friends. And you try to like convince her of this by actions, which might be manipulative, but I don't really know how else to phrase this.
Okay, let's go back to more standard types of cheating. Like
I think physical cheating is the most black and white.
Yeah, I think physical cheating is like you've now acted on an emotion and brought it to an action, and now this action has perpetuated into the world.
Okay, I'll say this.
You can't undo it.
I think that physical cheating, I don't really think you can forgive. Like some people will, like you'll be able to, but in most cases, I think physical cheating is a pretty hard line to cross. Like you did an action. Emotional cheating, I could see forgiving. I think emotional cheating is that gray area where like it's hard to know someone's intention. And like, let's say emotional cheating is talking about your relationship with someone else. Like, let's say you and your partner have an argument, like a personal, intimate argument about something. Let's say a random thing. It's you really, really wanted them to do something for you. Okay. Not like crazy, but like just an important task, like get you a surprise gift for your birthday, or be there for an event that you were doing. Like, let's say you're a showman, you are a guitarist, or something. You're playing a show, and you really wanted them there.
The Greatest Showman, perhaps.
Sure, yeah. Let's just say like you play sets at a bar, and like your band is on, and they had nothing else going on that night. They said they were going to be there, and they didn't show up, and they have no reason. Like that's and
that's not cheating though. And that's just literally twisting the definition.
No. So I was going somewhere with this. I was trying to figure out. Okay. And so you then vent about that to someone else. And you're venting about that possibly with a friend of yours that is another girl.
Okay.
There is a world in which someone could see that crosses into cheating.
That's insane.
That's
if you think that's cheating, that's insane.
I don't know. I naturally agree with emotional cheating. I don't agree. I just don't like have it in my mind.
Emotional cheating is like you're in a relationship and you text someone like, hey, you text say you're a guy, you're in a relationship with a girl, you text another girl, hey, good morning, how did you sleep? I hope you have a beautiful day. Like that's where it starts getting weird, because that's like a pretty sus text to send a friend.
It's just such a vague
like hey, good morning, beautiful. You would send that to a friend.
Yeah,
that's sus. That you're now doing more than some cordial flirting.
Yeah, but like that feels extreme to me. Like it goes beyond emotional. Well, I guess not. But I don't know. It just feels like it's so obvious that it's not.
Here's my opinion on cheating in general. I think if you're in a relationship and cheating becomes something that, like, say you consider yourself a good person, you're not a piece of just openly cheats. There's people like that are in relationships and just don't give a cheating and just do it all the time. I met a ton of people that I worked at a restaurant with that cheated like crazy and did not care.
Great.
They were completely unremorseful.
Glad they have their life figured out.
Pieces of
mm-hmm.
Now, if you're in a relationship, say it's been a while, your relationship is just going through like some rough patches. This happens to people all the time, and you feel the want of like affection from somebody else. You should probably be more insightful in your relationship and address that instead of seeking it elsewhere. Because maybe the reason you want to cheat or seek from somebody else is because your relationship is honestly over.
Well, and so this is where it crosses into this weird territory for me that like I don't fully understand of like emotional cheating. Like, where does it start? Where does it end?
Yeah.
Because I could see emotional cheating, if it's not physical, emotional cheating could be as obvious as like straight up flirting, being like, send me nudes. I don't know if that crosses into physical cheating, because at some point it's like, what is physical?
That's
You're doing
really
action.
sexual.
Yeah, but it could also be as vague as complimenting someone who is of the opposite sex. And God forbid you're bisexual, you are not allowed to have friends anymore.
That compliment system is tricky, because there's a friendly compliment. Like, I could tell, I could have a girlfriend and like see one of my friend girls and be like, hey, you look lovely tonight. I don't think that's weird. I could say, hey, your ass looks really nice and I'd love to eat it sometime.
But that goes into like you're saying an action.
Yeah. Because you actually got called out on complimenting my ex on looking good, and like you didn't.
I
say
said
it in a weird
I
way.
like your new pants.
Yeah, you didn't say it in a weird way at all.
No,
but it was perceived.
Everybody
in a weird way.
involved was okay except my ex.
Exactly, because you said it in a perfectly fine way.
I said it in front of her, in front of you, in front of other people.
Oh, she was there.
Yeah, everybody was there. I said it in front of my ex and in front of your ex. You were there.
Yeah, I didn't feel weird.
No
My
one
ex
felt
didn't
weird.
feel weird. The only person that felt weird was your ex.
Yeah, and I was
So
like,
that was
I
more
was
of an-
very confused at the time. And it was one of those moments, like my first instance, probably not my first, but one of my first instances of like someone being mad of emotionally cheating. And I was like, I don't understand. There's nothing flirty,
What
sexual.
did you say? You said something about Succession, about Siobhan.
I essentially said, like, your pants look great. It reminds me of Siobhan from Succession.
Yeah, and Siobhan in Succession is known for having a really nice butt.
Yeah, but like that wasn't the implication.
But Corey didn't say it in a weird way. He said it in like a friendly way.
It wasn't even like the point of the message. It was like her pants looked like the kind of person who was like rich as
Okay.
But like it also looked like Siobhan's pants. Siobhan also had, like, it was known. Your ex was one to always say she has a fat ass.
Yeah.
Not even me saying that.
Yeah, I get it.
But that wasn't the point of the compliment. I just said I liked your pants. We happened to be watching Succession. It said it reminded me of like Siobhan's pants.
Yeah.
And then my ex got mad at that.
Yeah.
And I understand emotionally cheating is this weird, vague gray area.
Because it's based on interpretation.
Where it's all based on your interpretation of someone's intent.
Yeah.
That you will never know
It's
someone's
fuckery.
intent, but you have to guess.
It's black magic fuckery.
Exactly. I don't remember exactly where we're going with this, but the thing is, I'm trying to defend why you can forgive emotionally cheating. Because it's sometimes
I don't think that's emotionally cheating, though. I think that's a false interpretation. And listen, I don't want to invalidate people's feelings on something, but sometimes I think the way someone feels about something is stupid and irrational.
I think here's the thing. If you're going to throw emotionally cheating into cheating umbrella, then I think cheating is forgivable, because physical cheating, I don't necessarily agree with being forgivable. I think that crosses the line. But emotional cheating is such a gray area that almost no two people will have the exact same idea of emotional cheating from the onset.
Yeah,
you have to talk
it's
about it.
very gray. It's very vague.
And
yeah.
so if you don't have that conversation by like the first month of you talking, there is a chance, depending on how extreme their views are, that you cross that line at some point without even thinking about it. But to them, you did something that they don't agree with.
Ultimately, the reason I think cheating is unforgivable is because if cheating were to take place, you should just end that relationship. You are trying to abuse and manipulate the contract that you have with your significant other of being exclusive with them and them being your partner, alongside also having somebody else. Unless you're in an open relationship, which turns everything vague.
And it's not cheating anymore.
But to me, open relationships sound like the biggest possible headache I could ever imagine.
It is, but it's not cheating. Cheating to me is when two people have an agreed contract about what you should or should not do in a relationship and you break it. And the unfortunate part is that relationships have a default contract in people's heads where physical cheating is always a no-no, unless otherwise spoken. And emotional cheating is also a no-no, but there's a huge vague area of what is or what isn't. And I think that if you have a different definition of emotionally cheating, then you can sometimes break that for the other person. Now, if this question is intentionally cheating forgivable, I don't know how to defend that.
Intentionally cheating?
Yes, if you intentionally cheat. Like, not a vague emotional, I complimented a girl space friend, and I didn't mean it in a sexual way, and my ex-girlfriend thought it was like a flirt. I mean, I said something like, hey, I want to eat that booty, and it was an intentional hit. That crosses a line, and I don't know how to defend that. I'm sorry, I give up.
I think it gets quite complicated because even like on our relationship advice, everyone jumps to, end it, separate everything. Okay.
To be fair, most of them, they probably should.
Yes, but now let's get down into real life. Life is a lot more complicated than that. You might have a 20-year relationship where you own a house together and you live together. You have 3 kids that are ages 5 to 10, and you're both taking care of them and them being in the same household. And for the most part,
it complicates
you do love
things.
each other, but some went down.
Does staying together mean you forgive them, though? It's saying it's cheating ever forgivable. Does staying together for the sake of your family mean you forgive them?
Not necessarily.
So then I don't think that necessarily means that.
But staying with someone and not forgiving them is not a good way to live.
No, but there are plenty of people who do that where they're like, they hate their current partner, but they have kids and they said that we're going to stay together until they're 18. And then
that might be worse for the kids.
Probably. But
if you don't forgive,
yeah, but
then
a lot
I
of
think you
people
should break up.
A lot of people are indoctrinated to think that a divorce is worse for
also,
children.
life's hard, dude. Like with my ex, we broke up and lived together for a year after. That's a very long time. And circumstantially, it was better for both of us because neither of us wanted to live with somebody random. Neither of us wanted to pay double the rent. So it worked out. And it honestly wasn't terrible, but it was weird.
Sure.
So like, I'm imagining a much more complicated circumstance to that is, I mean, we were already 5 years deep, which is a long time.
Yeah.
But I'm comparing it to like what I just said. Like, imagine you've been in a relationship, you're high school sweethearts. You met when you were 16. You're both 36 now. You have 10-year-old kids. You have an entire life you built together, and one of them cheated. Maybe forgiving them is the best bet to recover it. Maybe not.
Maybe. I don't know if forgiveness is the right word for that, because if it was me and I got cheated on and I was with someone for 10 years, I don't know if I'd forgive. I don't know if I'd forgive them. I'd probably try to like figure out what's the best course of action, and to me personally, divorce is where it's at.
Yeah.
Like if I can't trust you to keep your most basic instincts under control, then how am I supposed to trust you with like actual complicated shit?
Because that basic instinct is oftentimes very complicated.
Not really.
Kind of.
How? If it's physical, like genuinely, it's not complicated at all. Just don't do it. Like just don't do the action.
Yeah.
It's not complicated to say, hey, don't kiss that person. Don't that person. Don't send news to that. Like these aren't complicated things.
What happens if you're both peeing and your penis randomly falls into the other person's butt?
No, cut it off. It's not yours anymore. Like cheating physically is not complicated.
Yeah, it's not.
There's zero way. The only complication.
I'm saying that like infatuation and love, they're complicated.
This goes into another question that we could talk about in the future of like, can you genuinely love two people at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's debates on if that's possible or not. We don't have to get into that now, but that's something to consider. And if you are open about that, then it's not cheating. If you hide it and then like you don't make an attempt to compromise with the people you're currently with, then it is cheating. Anyways,
what do you guys think? Do you guys think that you can forgive somebody for cheating? And beyond that, do you think it's possible for other people, even if it isn't for you?
I think that if you have an opinion on this, clarify down below in the comments. Physical cheating, is it forgivable or not? Emotional cheating, is it forgivable or not? And where does that line drawn where it is or it isn't?
Yeah.
I would like to know, because I think that my opinion on it is that I can't understand forgiving physical cheating at all. Regardless of your situation, of your family, and all the life you built, I think it's better to split. And emotional cheating, I think, is one of those things where if you didn't have an agreed upon determination of what that is, it makes it harder, but I think that's where it is forgivable because you never spoke about it.
And everyone's different, but ideally, do not put yourselves in a relationship or do this to somebody else where you isolate them from being able to talk to anyone of the opposite sex, because that's probably not going to be healthy.
Yeah, I prefer to live my life assuming that everyone's bi. And like, if you would have rules for that, then it's just like they can't have any relationships at all, ever. No friendships, ever. That would be terrible. So don't do that. Don't be a manipulative piece of shit.
Thanks for watching, guys. If you guys want to see this podcast before it goes up on YouTube and see the full uncut and uncensored thing, make sure to check it out on our patreon.com/NickandCorey.
Where you can also watch our early access movie and show content, because we also put that on Patreon, and our votes to other stuff. And you can also check out our YouTube channel. That is our movie and show content called Nick and Corey. And
please like and subscribe to this video. It really helps us out. We're trying to get this podcast off the ground. Corey and I have been hauling ass for this, and we love it. That was weird. Was it? No, that was normal. I'm proud of this content, bitch. And you guys seem to like it a lot too, and that keeps us going. So
leave a comment if you like it, and comment one word at a time your favorite moment from this podcast.
One word at a time.
Help that engagement rate go up.
We'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.